In this video, we'll be reframing the term productivity. Like, what actually is it? Welcome to the Mixed Vixen YouTube channel. I am your host, Queen. Mixed Vixen is a community that says Black women, femmes, and folks impacted by misogyny are the standard, not the exception. And we do this through our magazine, podcast, workshop, and now on our YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. You a real one. So what I do on this channel is I repurpose articles, podcast episodes for YouTube so that I can make a visual way that people get the information that I create when I write articles and also when I do podcast episode. You can listen to the podcast wherever you get podcasts. I actually have a link in the notes. Podcast episodes are a little longer. There's a little more information in it. YouTube episodes a little more compact, but you still get the same goodness. So, choose how you want to take in what I say today. So a long time ago in 2020, I began my therapy journey. And I decided to start therapy when everything in New York City shut down. And I was okay. I still was employed and was doing okay mentally. But I had learned from Miley Teal, who I've been following and into for years, that you should look for therapy when you're not in crisis or when you're not in the middle of some stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me look into therapy now because, I don't know how this pandemic is going to plan out. So let me do that. And one of the most important things that I've learned while in therapy is to reframe my ideas about people, reframing my thoughts and my past, reframing what I thought certain narratives were. Because most of the narratives that I've created on a personal level generally aren't real. They're just based on all the feelings that were triggered in that moment. I don't plan to share what I reframed and the things I reframed in therapy because that's my business. But I'd like to share my thoughts on reframing many words. And the first word that I want to reframe with this is the word productivity. Be it the podcast or YouTube, you will hear how I have dismantled and reframed these words, and I hope that these ideas and things work for you as well. So the first word that I want to dismantle today, reframe, is the word productivity. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because most of us have been conditioned to believe our importance is tied to what we can produce and give to the world. Everything is also tied to whether what I produce is even valuable based on my identity. And what I mean by that is pay-wage gaps based on gender, race, sexuality, gender identity. All of those things impact how people perceive our labor and our productivity. So from a personal standpoint, I have always had a very unique relationship with productivity. It has never really aligned with what the world sees as something that is productive. I like to do things on my own time. I'm huge on working smarter and not harder. I'm all for the shortcut. I do not like complex work. I don't feel like my journey to produce should be challenging, taxing, taking huge amount of times that drain me. I don't think that's productive at all. But because my relationship is different than what the world perceives as productivity, I have been taught to believe I was lazy. And actually, that ain't it. Because I never had a desire to work hard or strenuously or push against something or force something or compete in these other ways. I seriously just thought I was just a lazy bitch. Another thing that I noticed is that the hardest working people that I knew were actually working class people. And because they're working class, they weren't deserving, in air quotes, of leisure and play and things like that. And I just never thought that was correct. I never thought that the amount of work you produce should also equate the amount of leisure you should gain. Because like I said, the hardest working people that I know are working class people who have to work 3 jobs to maintain life, but for some reason the world says they're not allowed leisure. I just wasn't with that. Yeah, I always saw examples of leisure and rest and those things only being granted to people whose, in air quotes, productivity fit what capitalism said. And you know what? I just can't get with a system like that. So you get to that point, you make those decisions, and then it's like, so what do I do? I still have to be in the world. And although my ideas of productivity don't align in general with what capitalism says good productivity is, I have to figure it out and manage and make this shit work. So I had to remind myself that there are still actually things that I can control. And those are the things I want us to focus on today. The things we can control in our productivity. To all the overachievers, the underachievers, and everyone in between here today, I want you to know you deserve to measure your own productivity. And I actually did a poll on Mix Vixen's Instagram and Twitter where I was asking people, does society standards of productivity feel natural to you? And I got many responses. People said that these ideas of productivity don't generally feel natural to them. And I think that's actually pretty common, especially amongst folks who are part of marginalized communities. That stuff, those ideas of productivity were not made for us and also made to make us feel like we're never good enough. I went a little bit in on what needs to change, but how do we change these things and reframe these ideas in our mind? I want to start with this. I think efficiency is far more important than productivity. I'm going to say that again. I think efficiency is far more important than productivity. So let's reframe our focus from being extremely productive, getting a lot done, to being extremely efficient, getting the right things done. Everything on your to-do list doesn't have to be completed to be productive. As one Harvard Business Review article puts it, when you focus on work efficiency, your aim is doing the same with less. But if you're focusing on work productivity, you're looking for ways to do more with the same. So I'm sure you're like, Queen, what are you saying? What I'm saying is focus on the most important things on the list, not everything on the list. You're one person and it's not even natural for you to complete everything on your own. Some things that I do at work to be a little more efficient is I am the queen of an email template. At my day job, I do a lot of emails that are very similar. Like a lot of my emails are very the same, especially when it comes to people outside of the organization. So I have about 20 something templates that allows me to just plug them in, change the things I need, and send them out. And I'm able to shoot out and get out so much work because I created a system that like works for me, and I'm not like sending an email, the perfect email from scratch every time a person reaches out to my organization to ask a question or anything like that. Most of the questions that I'm asked are basically the same kind of questions. So I just make a template for those things, and I'm like set and ready to go. And it has made my life so much easier. Another thing that is a way that I am highly efficient is that I do the things that I really enjoy doing, and I do the things I'm really good at doing, and I delegate the things that I am not good at doing or that I don't like doing. So on a personal level, the way that looks is I order my groceries. I do not like shopping. Like, I really don't. If I could like order a house online, you probably can, I would do that. I do not like shopping. I like acquiring things. I do not like shopping. So now I order my groceries online. is actually more cost efficient than if I go to the supermarket. I currently live in a neighborhood that is a food desert, which means that the grocery stores around me are like very under resourced. So if I want to get good groceries, you literally have to take an Uber, about a $10 Uber to get groceries. But when I'm ordering, that delivery fee is way less than $5. So I'm actually saving money. Another thing that I do that is efficient because I don't like to do it is laundry. I send my laundry out. It is a little more than if I did it myself, but I'm a big proponent of I can make money back, I cannot make time back. So I outsource my laundry. Someone else does my laundry. Another thing that I've recently done, and that is because I make a little more money than I have ever in my life, to be honest, is I hire someone to clean my apartment every 2 weeks. I do clean as time, I could wash the dishes and do stuff like that. But when it comes to that deep cleaning, because my schedule is so tight, I have someone come in every 2 weeks and do like a really, really deep clean. And hopefully I would like to get to a point in my life where I can afford someone every week. But outsourcing those things that I don't particularly like to do has really, really opened up space for me to like just enjoy the things that I want to do, and I have more time for myself. I do want to say that yes, I live in New York City, so these things are highly accessible for me, but think about yourself and what things you can probably outsource, delegate. If you have children, maybe now they do dishes every night. Just think about ways that you can outsource certain things so you're not juggling all the balls at once, so you don't feel like, oh my God, I'm a loser and I can't get anything done. Another thing that I do that helps with my efficiency, and that's when it comes to content, honestly, is this YouTube channel. I repurpose content like a mother sucker. Like, this video will also be a podcast, might also be chopped up into little reels, who knows? But it doesn't make sense to keep reinventing the wheel and start it from scratch. Especially since most people have their favorite kind of social media anyway. Some people who listen to podcasts do not watch videos. Some people who watch videos do not read articles. Some people who read my articles don't watch YouTube. So it's just a very simple way for me to like be efficient. I'm not creating new work for I have to edit, but I am not creating a whole new content. This script that I used to write for this video is also the script that is going to be used for the podcast. So, so that is a way for me to be more efficient. I'm getting the right things done instead of trying to get everything done. Base things on how efficient things are rather than how productive things are. And that has helped me a lot. If something doesn't work out, it's not about productivity. It's now about changing whatever system of efficiency I created. This has helped with me not feeling like a failure or feeling lazy because I'm focused on the big picture and not tied down to the small, minute details that usually are no big deal to correct later. My next tip is slow down. Slowing down is actually productive. Taking breaks, doing less. Taking your time isn't something that is counterproductive. One thing that I have stopped saying is I've wasted a day. That is something that's been embedded deep in my vocabulary. Nah, I've thrown that out. There's a day where I've sat around and done nothing. That's not actually true because I was resting that day. That is productive. Rest is productive. Do it. I have rested. I have laughed. I have restored my imagination by reading or watching TV. I have connected with family and friends via the phone or FaceTime or Zoom calls. With all of that, I have also been productive. So reframe what you even think productivity is. Okay? You should be producing for yourself as well. Everything you produce is not for the world. So resting is productivity for you and your body. Reading is productivity for you and your brain and your imagination. So just reframe productivity in those ways, and I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Reframe thinking that productivity is for other people. It is mostly for you. And I just want to say again, rest is productive, so go get you some. You deserve. Take a nap. The last thing I want to leave you with is getting rid of productivity guilt. Like, find a way to let go of that. Find a way to let go of that. Get rid of it. Bye. Bye. Like Fantasia said, go ahead and free yourself. Get rid of it. You don't need it. It's really this capitalism kicking your ass and making you feel worthless for not producing something. Stop negotiating in your mind whether what you do is valuable. We are all valuable, and I know the systems around us tell us otherwise, but don't believe them. Don't believe them because it's not true. Booked and busy ain't it. It's just not. And I used to think that that was it too. So don't think that you're alone in that. But booked and busy is not it. When I hear busy now, I just hear poor planning and poor efficiency. Busy is not cute. And I want no parts of it. You finish your to-do list early, great. It doesn't mean you have to push to do the next thing or do something for tomorrow. You finished it, leave it there, let it go, okay? If you don't finish your list, it is okay. There is always tomorrow to get it done. And if there isn't a tomorrow, because death happens, then it wasn't meant to be done anyway. Ha ha.
Aha! Aha!
Ha ha. Okay, I didn't want to get that dark. But anyway, those are the 3 things I think are important when you are reframing your ideas around productivity. Create efficiency, slow down, and get rid of your productivity guilt. Just get rid of that shit. I'm going to leave you with an exercise for you to reframe your ideas around productivity. Yes, you're going to get a little homework. If you want to work on your efficiency, my tip is to think of one thing that you want to repurpose into many different things, and also one thing that you can outsource. If your goal is to work on slowing down, here is a journal prompt. I'm into the journaling shit. Here is a journal prompt, which means that you start with this sentence and then you write the rest of your journal entry based on this prompt. I honor rest and slowing down by blank. And then you fill in the rest of your journal entry with whatever that thing is. And then the last thing, if you want to work on your productivity guilt, when you feel yourself feeling guilty about not being productive, have a conversation with yourself about why you feel that way. And maybe have a conversation about who taught you how to feel that way. And, it could be easy. Write it down, make it a voice note, do something like that. Sometimes it's nice to just flesh out why you have the ideas you have before you can reframe them. So those are my 3 activities, homework assignments, or whatever you want to call them, to help assist you with reframing your ideas around productivity. Thank you. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for being here. I was actually a little nervous about doing this because I'm a podcaster and a writer, so I'm used to not being seen. But, this is okay. Baby steps. I'm here. Thank you for doing this with me. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. We will have videos weekly. Follow us on social media. That is also in the bottom as well. And stay fly, queen.